I'm the woman cherished by the young master of the Beijing social circle. Only I dare to flip his card table and show him a cold face when he's extremely angry. Everyone was waiting to see me go too far and end up in a mess, getting dumped by Jason, but every time, he would just smile casually and let me make a fuss. Until that day, when I damaged the Buddhist beads he had always worn on his wrist, the heartless and fierce look on his face came into my sight, revealing his true self. I sneered. Couldn't keep up the pretense anymore. Quite a number of people came to Jason's birthday banquet. When people drank too much, all kinds of words came pouring out. Do you still remember Jason's birthday the year before last? June ordered all the red roses in the city to cover the streets and the fragrance lingered for a whole half a month. What's the big deal? Which of Jason's birthdays didn't June go all out for? She casually gave away limited edition watches and sports cars. What impressed me deeply was the Buddhist beads that Jason wore on his wrist. June knelt step by step to the top of the mountain to get them. Her knees were all worn. Before the man could finish speaking, he sensed that the atmosphere was wrong and immediately fell silent. He remembered something, and his face turned pale with fright. Trembling, he called out, "Jason's sister-in-law." Jason half lowered his gaze and casually fiddled with the Buddhist beads. Go on. That man was so scared that he sobered up a lot. Jason had a bad temper. The young masters who got along with him were always careful and cautious, for fear of offending him. Even if their family backgrounds were wealthy, they couldn't compare with Jason's family. They were simply not on the same level. The cold moonlight shone in through the French windows. I picked up the cigarette box on the dining table and took out a cigarette. The slender cigarette was held between my fingertips. Behind the thin mist, my eyes were extremely cold. June was Jason's first love deep in his heart and died in the year when Jason loved her the most. This was something that couldn't be mentioned in the Beijing social circle. I'm Jason's fiancée. Everyone tacitly avoided mentioning the name June in front of me. Everyone knew that Jason doted on me to an extreme degree. To what extent could he be without any bottom line? At a gathering for eating, drinking, and having fun, I just coughed a little, and he immediately ordered everyone not to smoke or drink, which made those young masters laugh and scold him for being completely under my thumb. He played cards too late, and I got so impatient waiting that I directly lifted his card table. Everyone present gasped in shock and was extremely nervous. Who didn't know that Jason was famous for his hot temper and ruthless means? Nobody dared to make him unhappy. But I was the exception. Everyone was waiting to watch the show, waiting to see how I, relying on his doting, would bring myself to ruin. Jason stood up and took my hand. Are you sleepy? I rubbed my sleepy and red eyes and gave a soft that he chuckled softly and picked me up horizontally and left. Later, someone reminded him that he could spoil a woman, but not too much, or else she would be spoiled. Jason gently fiddled with the Buddhist beads on his fingertips, and his tone became unusually serious. Let her make a fuss. If it gets out of hand, I'll deal with the aftermath. I became the envy of women in the Beijing social circle, only I knew that all of this was because I had a face similar to June's. Your health is not good yet you still smoke? There was tenderness like thousands of stars hidden in Jason's dark eyes. I pulled back my distracted thoughts. My health is not good? In the annual physical examination reports, all the summaries at the end said, no abnormalities. The person with poor health in his mouth had long passed away. The cigarette went out. I snatched the Buddhist beads from Jason's wrist. The man who had always been calm lost his composure, and his words became harsh. Give them back to me. His voice was fierce. I ran towards the bathroom. In his panicked eyes, I yanked the string of the Buddhist beads and flushed them down the drain one by one. Jason rushed over, trying to grab something, but it was all in vain. He pinched my neck, his eyes fierce, completely different from the way he had been showing concern for me just now. Who gave you the guts? Do you believe that I'll kill you? I curled my lips into a smile. Believe it? How could I not believe it? Was there anything that the young master of the Jason family didn't dare to do? The people present didn't dare to speak at first, for fear of getting into trouble. Later, worried that things would really get out of hand and someone might die, those who had a good relationship with Jason bravely stepped forward to persuade. Jason let go of sister-in-law quickly. She can hardly breathe. I looked at him, and the forced tears slid down from the corners of my eyes. A drop of warmth fell on the back of Jason's hand. He let go of his hand, looked at my face, took a step forward, and then stopped in place. He ordered his subordinates to look for the Buddhist beads, sparing no expense to get them back. He left me here alone, making me a laughingstock. I endured the strange gazes from all around, and the voices of people pointing fingers reached my ears. I opened the chat interface with Jason and scrolled up bit by bit. The fourth installment of the movie series you like has been released. I'll take you to watch it tomorrow. Off work. I'll bring you a strawberry cake tonight. I'll be back late tonight. You eat first. Don't wait for me. I didn't like that movie series. I hadn't watched it since the first one. The person who liked watching it was June. I'm allergic to strawberries. The one who liked strawberry cake was also June. The day he came back late was the anniversary of June's death. He stayed in the cemetery all night, and the next day, someone with ulterior motives took a picture and sent it to me. I'm tired. Let's break up. I blocked all of Jason's contact information. I went out for a few days to relax. As soon as I returned to Beijing, I was called back by my parents with a phone call. What's the matter? Slap. Before I even entered the door, I was slapped hard, and 5 finger marks appeared on my face, which showed how much force was used. I looked past my father at the man sitting on the sofa. I knew in my heart why I got the slap. My father scolded me. Hurry up and apologize to President Jason. Beg him to forgive you. Do you know that everything our family has now is given by President Jason? If you make him angry and he takes it all back, what will your mother and I do? My breath caught. The pain on my face couldn't compare to the pain in my heart. I met Jason's half-smiling gaze and felt extremely humiliated. He stood up and walked over lazily. Uncle, no matter what Ruby does, she's still my woman. Shouldn't you think twice before laying a hand on her? His voice was neither too loud nor too soft, but every word hit my father's heart. Yes, yes, yes. It was my lack of consideration. I was just too angry. President Jason, please don't blame Ruby. I'll apologize to you on her behalf. I said you don't need you to apologize for me. I've already broken up with him, and we won't have any relationship in the future. My father was so angry that he raised his hand to hit me again. Jason grabbed my wrist and walked out. I in the elevator. He pushed me back until I leaned against the elevator wall, nibbling on my earlobe. Little thing, I didn't blame you for losing my stuff, but now you're throwing a tantrum. I covered the hatred in my eyes. Didn't blame me? I was almost choked to death by you. Is this what you call not blaming me? You left me in the hotel to endure the finger-pointing of so many people. Is this what you call not blaming me? I sarcastically said. Jason, you've never liked me. All you like is June's face. His face gradually darkened, warning me not to continue. I forced a smile at the corners of my mouth. Jason, the reason I was with you was just that your face is one of the best in the Beijing social circle. But people will eventually get tired of looking at something. Now I'm tired of looking at your face. Tired of it? He repeated it playfully. His cold fingertips gently patted my face, and his eyes looked like he was looking at a disobedient pet. Ruby, what can you do without me? I've spoiled you too much this year, making you forget how cruel the society can be. He stroked the palm print on my face. Be good and obedient. I'll pretend that nothing happened. You'll still be Mrs. Jason. It seemed that everything was under his control. This feeling was suffocating. He grasped the back of my neck and pulled me over for a kiss. After a fierce exchange, both of us tasted blood. Jason whispered in my ear, Ruby, keep pretending, pretend to be submissive, pretend to love me desperately. Why make a fuss with me? In the end, you'll be the one suffering. He sneered and wiped away the blood bead that had just appeared on his lip with his thumb. Ding! The elevator door opened. I leaned against the elevator wall, my lips slightly swollen, and there was mist in my eyes from anger. The girl outside the elevator was stunned for a few seconds when she saw this scene. Hello? Do you need help? The next second, my eyes filled with tears. I looked at Jason in panic and then ran out of the elevator, nodding vigorously, yes. Please call the police for me. Hearing this, Jason's dark pupils were bottomless. The police arrived soon. Jason passed by me. Ruby, you're really good at courting death. The girl, as a witness, went with us. Before I could say anything, she rushed to testify for me. Uncle Policeman, I saw this man harassing this young lady with my own eyes. Look at how scared she is. People like him are the scum of society. They should be severely punished. Put him in jail to prevent him from harming others outside. The girl's eyes were really lively. Her fierce look wasn't intimidating at all. She was just so cute. The scum of society? Jason's fingers fiddling with the Buddhist beads paused, and his eyes were terrifying. The policeman wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. You've misunderstood. President Jason and Miss Ruby are fiancés. Everyone in Beijing knows that. The girl? Really, sister? I knew that Jason had power and influence and wouldn't be easy to deal with. It's in the past. I've already broken off our engagement and broken up with him. Jason gave a sarcastic smile. I didn't agree. I said, I was informing you, not discussing with you. I turned to look at the policeman. I want to sue him for harassing me. The policeman looked at Jason with difficulty. Jason sneered and said in a low, teasing voice, do as my fiancé says. He tugged at his tie a few times. Dressed in a suit and tie, he looked like a refined scoundrel. After I finished making the statement, I left with the girl. Jason. After walking out of the police station, I offered to treat her to a meal to express my gratitude. I'm Ruby. Thanks to you for what happened today. There's no need for a meal. It's just doing what's right when seeing injustice. I'm Bonnie. Nice to meet you. We exchanged contact information with each other. I was lying in the bathtub in the hotel, poking at my phone and editing a short essay of about 1,000 words before sending it to the group chat. The key point was to express that I had dumped Jason and that there would be no relationship between us ever again. I also sent red envelopes in the group chat and asked people to help me forward it. Jason, who was still unaware of this, became famous in this way. The Beijing social circle was not that big. Everyone was watching the drama with great interest, and this short essay spread through various groups, big and small. Outside the police station, Jason's buddy was leaning against the front of the car. When he saw Jason coming out, he quickly handed him a cigarette. Jason, you're famous now. Jason narrowed his eyes. Fuer quickly handed over his phone. After Jason saw the content clearly, the atmosphere around him became gloomy. Jason, do you want to check where sister-in-law is? Jason took the cigarette, lit it, took a puff and blew out a white cloud of smoke. No need. Have you ordered the platycodon flowers that I asked you to order? Yes, it's done. The next morning, I took a taxi to the ancient treasure pavilion. Before getting engaged to Jason, I was a cultural relic restorer. The boss here had contacted me many times, hoping that I could come to work for him. Before I even entered the door, I heard a familiar voice. Bonnie was pleading with the boss. Boss, can't this painting really be restored? I'll pay whatever it costs. This is my grandpa's favorite thing, and his greatest wish is to see this painting restored. The boss also wanted to take on this job, but this painting was an authentic work from the Tang dynasty. With this degree of damage, ordinary people couldn't restore it. If it got damaged by accident, he couldn't afford to compensate for it either. After comprehensive consideration, he really couldn't take this order. Only a top-notch restorer can restore your painting. We really can't do it here. I walked in and recognized Bonnie, who was frowning and looking dejected. She also saw me. Sister, why are you here? I stared at the painting in her hand for a while. I can restore it, but it will take about a week. Is that okay? Bonnie's eyes lit up. Really, sister? I nodded. Seeing this, the boss quickly introduced me. Do you know each other? This is our newly recruited cultural relic restorer. She learned from Master Su. You can rest assured to leave this painting to her. Bonnie breathed a sigh of relief. Then I'll come to pick up the painting in a week. After the boss saw the guest off, I took the painting and walked into the special restoration room. First, I dealt with the painting core. I scalded it with hot water and then used a sheep's stomach towel to squeeze and absorb the dirty water. During this process, I couldn't damage the life paper and the painting core. Next, I needed to restore the details and fibers of the painting that were lifted when the life paper was removed. For a whole week, except for eating and dealing with necessary matters, I stayed in the restoration room. A week later, I finally sized the painting core. Looking at the restored painting, I smiled knowingly. When Bonnie saw the restored painting, she was so surprised that she couldn't close her mouth. Oh my, this restoration is so wonderful. I originally thought that as long as the torn painting paper could be flattened, it would be okay. Sister, you're amazing. My grandpa will surely be very happy when he sees it. Thank you, sister. You're welcome. It's what I should do. My phone rang. I had put my phone on silent these days and there were quite a few missed calls. Looking at the caller ID, I pressed my eyebrows and answered the call. Dad. Where are you? Why didn't you answer my calls these days? Come home quickly. I have something important to tell you. Remembering what had happened last time, I asked, is Jason there? President Jason isn't here. Come back quickly. Otherwise, you won't be able to see your mom and me. Then he hung up the phone. I turned around and said to the boss apologetically, I need to ask for half a day off. Something urgent has come up suddenly. You've worked hard these days. There's no need to ask for leave. I'll give you 2 days off. You can have a good rest, and your salary will be paid as usual. I smiled faintly. Thank you, boss. The door of my house was open. I pushed the door open, walked past the luggage on the floor and sat on the sofa. I've told you long ago that things obtained through others' charity won't last long. Is Jason going to take back this house? My dad was so angry that he was gasping for breath. If it weren't for you, how could President Jason take back this house? Hurry up and apologize to him. I don't care what method you use, but you must make him forgive you. Otherwise, don't call me dad anymore. I smiled sarcastically. Then should I call you uncle? You. He was really angry with me. I took out a bunch of keys from my bag and threw them on the table. This is the old house that you sold back then. I didn't support you selling it at that time, but you didn't listen. He picked up the keys. Why are the keys to the old house with you? Didn't I sell it? I bought it back. For a moment, no one said anything. My dad sat on the sofa, staring at the keys in his palm, not knowing what he was thinking. Dad, is a life of being careful and relying on others really comfortable? It's better to rely on yourself than on others. When you use things given by others, you'll always be in fear, worried that they'll be taken back one day. Jason played a good game back then. Without my knowledge, he arranged things for my parents. By the time I got the news, they had already quit their jobs and got used to a life where they could just stretch out their hands for clothes and open their mouths for food. Later, the relationship between me and my parents became more and more distant. I couldn't understand what they wanted. Every time we met, they would only ask me to follow Jason, not to go against his words and to hurry up and have a child to secure my position as Mrs. Jason. I was so annoyed that later, except for giving them living expenses every month, I hardly took the initiative to call them. Occasionally, when they called me, they would either urge me to have a child or ask me to coax Jason to marry me and hold the wedding as soon as possible. Ruby, Dad, I got up and looked at the luggage on the floor. Are we moving to the old house or what? Actually, there was no second choice. Jason wouldn't show any respect to my parents. What he wanted was for me to beg him. My dad was hesitant. I pretended to walk towards the door as if I was about to leave. He quickly stopped me. Let's go back to the old house. Let's go back to the old house. I found a moving company on my phone. It wasn't until the afternoon that we finished packing things. I had guessed Jason's move. I had hired a cleaner to clean the old house in advance. When we returned to the old house, my dad's eyes were a bit red when he saw the familiar things. He said in surprise, "We haven't been back to this house for so many years. How can it still be so clean?" My mom slapped the back of his head from behind. It must be Ruby who did it. The boss called and said there was an urgent order. He said rather embarrassedly, sorry. I promised to give you 2 days off, but now I still need you to come back to work overtime. No other colleagues except you can restore the painting of the client. The client is in a hurry, and they specifically asked for you. What do you think? I understand. Should I go back to the ancient treasure pavilion? No, no, no. The client is at the DW bar. You can go there directly. I tightened my fingertips holding the phone. The DW bar? When I was with Jason, he often took me there. I furrowed my brows, thinking that there must be something going on. As I had guessed, when I saw the familiar faces in the DW bar and Jason sitting in the main seat. I'm a staff member from the ancient treasure pavilion. Where is the painting that needs to be restored? I didn't look at Jason at all throughout the process, but I could sense his gaze. Sister-in-law. Miss Ruby, the painting is with me. The person who spoke was Felix. He was the second in his family, and those who knew him well called him Fuer. He had the best relationship with Jason among these people, and they had grown up together since childhood. He changed his way of addressing me to Miss Ruby. Everyone couldn't help but think of that 1,000-word short essay in their minds and held back their laughter. When had Jason ever suffered such a stifling loss? I picked up the painting and examined it. The restoration price is 3 million yuan. If it's okay, I'll take it back to restore. Fuer glanced at Jason beside him. Are you sure you can restore it well? This painting of mine is very valuable. So many experienced masters couldn't do it. Can you? Restoration of this level isn't even moderately difficult for me. Okay, then let's start. I asked in confusion, Restore it here. Fuer lazily leaned back. What? Can't you do it? I explained, it's not that I can't do it. It's just that I need an absolutely quiet place to restore ancient paintings, and I didn't bring my tools either. That's easy to handle. He asked people to turn off the music and the dazzling lights and turned on the warm light. I've also prepared the tools for you. Miss Ruby, you can start now. Okay. I took out my tools and placed them on the table. This was much simpler than the painting I restored for Bonnie. The gentle light shone on my back, and my long eyelashes fluttered gently. Jason saw how serious I was. His fingertips that were fiddling with the Buddhist beads paused. He stared at me, and his breathing became much lighter. A dilapidated and old painting took on a new look in my hands in just 3 hours. Everyone present was a bit surprised. They had originally thought that I was just a canary kept by Jason, but they didn't expect that I had some real skills. Even Jason couldn't help showing approval. He didn't even know what major I graduated from, the only thing he knew about me was my face. He took it for granted that what June liked was also what I liked. After the restoration was completed and I got the remuneration, I was about to leave when Jason stopped me. Did I allow you to leave? President Jason, didn't you stay in the police station long enough and want to go in again? Jason raised his eyes and looked at me. Have your parents moved into the new house? Here are the keys. I put them on the table. Jason sighed helplessly. What do you want? Wouldn't it be good if we were the same as before? If you're obedient, I'll give you the title of Mrs. Jason. Fuer was dumbfounded. Was Jason giving someone a way out? He had never seen Jason take the initiative to give others a chance to step down. Usually, it was others who built the steps and respectfully invited him to come down. Jason ignored the surprised expressions of others. You like restoring ancient paintings? There are a bunch of them in the old house of the Jason family. I can let you restore as many as you like. As long as it's something you like, I can get it for you. Jason, you don't really understand what I truly want. I restore ancient paintings to preserve them with what I've learned to help those who really like them so that they won't be helpless when facing damaged paintings. But in your eyes, all of these can be equated with money. Jason, besides money, what else do you have? Jason's face turned as cold as frost. Ruby, it's not your place to criticize me. I was taken back to the villa by Jason. He wanted to turn me into another June. Ignoring that I was allergic to strawberries, he forced me to eat them. Will you eat them by yourself or should I feed you? I swept the cake onto the floor, Jason, if June knew that you were treating someone else as her and defiling your relationship with her, she wouldn't forgive you. Jason stared at the cake on the floor, then turned around and walked out of the bedroom. When he came in again, he was holding a syringe and a small ampoule in his hand. I couldn't help but want to swear, "What the hell do you want to do?" June had a bellflower tattoo on her back. "You don't." He added, "You won't feel any pain after being put to sleep with anesthesia." I was very nervous inside. What did June's tattoo have to do with me? I wanted to escape, but there was nowhere to hide in the room. When I saw Jason break open the ampoule, I knew he was serious. I backed up to the window and reached for the desk lamp on the table with my hand. Jason noticed this little movement and sneered, mocking me for overestimating my abilities. I took a deep breath. "Jason, June is already dead. You buried her with your own hands. I'm not her and I can never become her. You say you love June, but you're treating me as a substitute and trying to make me the same as her. You don't really love her at all. June is just an obsession in your heart. Because you can't have her, you can't forget her and are stubbornly looking for a substitute." Jason didn't stop what he was doing with his hands. "You keep saying that you love her. Have you ever asked June if she would like there to be another person exactly like her in this world? After all, you're just a selfish and self-centered person. If you really love her, you should do what she wanted to do instead of creating a second June. There's only one June and she's already passed away. You should face the reality." This time, Jason stopped what he was doing with his hands. It was impossible to tell whether he was angry or happy in his dark eyes. "She's not dead. In the future you'll live in her place, Jason. I understand women. If you really treat me as her and live with me for the rest of your life, when you die June won't want to see you. No matter how similar we two are, I'm not her." I was almost driven crazy by him, and even swear words were forced out of me. Jason fell into hesitation and struggle. I continued, "If I were June I wouldn't want you to do this. No one would want the person they love to treat someone else as them. If the person I love did this, he wouldn't want to see me for the rest of his life." Jason threw away the syringe and sat on the sofa, as if all his strength had left him. Recently, June hadn't come to his dreams. Was it because she was angry? Jason had lost control of his mind for a while after June's death and later managed to control it with medication. "If you were her, what would you want me to do?" After experiencing that race against death, I sat on the sofa and picked up the cigarettes on the table, wanting to smoke one to calm myself down. Jason gently raised his eyes and glanced over. "The way you smoke is the same as hers. Not only do you two look alike, but many of your actions are also similar." Worried that he might have another crazy idea and give me a tattoo again, I quickly put it down. I didn't have a smoking addiction before. Since I learned that I was June's substitute, I got addicted to it. If I were June, on the premise of not hurting others, I would hope that you could live a happy life. Also live on with her dreams. You should know what June's dreams were, right? Jason quietly looked at me and said, "She wanted to become an outstanding fashion designer, but she left this world before she could fulfill it. Then help her fulfill her dream. You can also set up a relief foundation in her name to help people like her so that June can live in everyone's hearts." Jason didn't say anything and fiddled with the Buddhist beads one by one. Time passed as slowly as if a century had gone by. Okay. After leaving Jason's villa, I threw myself into work and was busy restoring a batch of newly unearthed cultural relics. Jason was busy creating a clothing brand belonging to June. People in the circle were very curious about what had happened between Jason and me. Suddenly, the engagement was cancelled, and Jason even said to the outside world that we would be friends in the future. It was terrifying no matter how you thought about it. I received a call asking me to take my tools and go to the site. There was a thorny problem. I bought a ticket and rushed to City A. Beside the cordon, I saw a familiar figure wearing the clothes of a staff member. I stared at that figure and tentatively called out, "Dad." Ethan turned around and was also very surprised to see me. "Why are you here?" I lifted the toolbox and shook it in front of him. "Have you forgotten what my major is?" He smiled proudly and said, "Yes, my daughter is an excellent cultural relic restorer. Go and get busy." We'll talk after work. Seeing him seriously and responsibly patrolling around, I couldn't help but chuckle softly. Ruby, you're finally here. Come and look at pit number 5. This largest object is already ready for extraction. According to our observation, this huge mask was damaged before it was buried, so we must be extremely careful when extracting it now. Do you think you can handle it? I looked at the obvious cracks on the mask, observed it carefully, and after confirming that I could handle it, I nodded. Okay, then I'll leave pit number 5 to you. Rachel was my senior at school. This time, when a tomb was suddenly unearthed during the road construction in City A and they were too busy, she called me to come and help. I put on my gloves, took out my tools and was about to go down into the pit when I heard, "Is she okay?" I've never even heard of her before. Isn't it a bit hasty to assign such an important task to her? Rachel said, her skills in restoring cultural relics are better than mine. Do you think she can do it or not? The little girl shut her mouth. Judging from her expression, she was still unconvinced. I raised my eyebrows with a half smile. Rachel wanted to say something. Senior, you go and get busy. Leave this to me. These cultural relics had been buried in the ground for a long time. The soil and the objects had merged together. When they were unearthed, we not only had to be extremely careful, but also had to be more cautious during the later restoration process. The scraper in our hands couldn't be too light or too heavy, otherwise it would leave irreparable marks on these things. I first used a brush to brush away the surface marks. Then I gently removed the impurities on it. The little girl, trying to show off, attempted to get ahead of me, but accidentally left a mark on the pottery figurine beside her. She was so frightened that she didn't know what to do. I continued with the restoration work in my hands and caught her expression in my peripheral vision. She didn't say anything, and neither did I. All afternoon, she was obviously absent-minded. In the evening, the team leader looked around. Seeing the deep scratch on this pottery figurine, he asked, "Who restored pit number 5? The little girl immediately stood up and pointed at me. "It's her. I don't know where Rachel found such a person. I saw that she left such a big scratch when she was restoring it this afternoon and even tried to cover it up." The team leader asked, "Then why didn't you say anything?" "She's Rachel's friend. I was worried about offending people." "What nonsense are you talking about? I was at pit number 5 all afternoon. Ruby was extremely careful when she was restoring it and didn't make such a stupid mistake at all," my dad said. The little green tea girl held back her tears. "What do you mean by that? Are you saying that I damaged the cultural relic and then framed her? I heard your conversation when she came this morning. You're Ruby's father, so of course you'll side with her. But you can't frame me like this." My dad had never encountered this kind of green tea girl before and was so angry that he couldn't speak, just repeating that it was nonsense. The little green tea girl cried even harder. I have a bad temper and won't tolerate green tea girls. I grabbed her wrist and touched the dirt on her sleeve. "This pottery figurine is made of gray soil. You said you didn't touch this pottery figurine this afternoon. Then where did the gray soil on your clothes come from?" The little green tea girl said, "I've been at pit number 5 all afternoon. It's quite normal to accidentally get some on me. Isn't it a bit hasty to convict me just because of this little bit of dirt?" "Of course not. I also have a video here, which is evidence of you damaging the pottery figurine this afternoon." I opened it and handed it to the team leader. The team leader's face darkened after watching it. Rachel took it and watched it, feeling exasperated. "I asked you to come with me to study hard, not to play these dirty tricks. I'll report your performance and the mistakes you made this time one by one. Now you immediately apologize to Ruby and then go back. We don't need you here anymore." The little green tea girl was so frightened that her face turned pale. Rachel shouted at her loudly, "Hurry up and apologize." The little green tea girl walked slowly to me with small steps. "I'm sorry." I smiled and raised my chin in the direction of the cultural relic, removed the dirt beside the knife mark. The little green tea girl didn't understand why, but she still did as I said. After the dirt was removed, the cultural relic was undamaged. Rachel came over and patted my arm. "Well done. This piece of dirt had merged with the cultural relic. I didn't even notice it, but you found it. The workload here is so big. If you let her go back, who will help me with pit number 5? You can decide how to deal with her when we go back. Let her follow me for these few days first. Rachel asked, are you sure? The next day, at pit number 5. I'm sorry, the little green tea girl said to me awkwardly. She probably thought that I was helping her. In fact, I just wanted to find someone to do the rough work for me. In the following time, the little green tea girl ran around here and there. By noon, she had lost her initial arrogance. There was dirt on several strands of her hair and all over her body, and several blisters had formed on her fingers. She was on the verge of crying. Go and get a shovel and dig a hole for me over there, I said, pointing to the open space not far away. The little green tea girl swallowed her tears. After digging the hole, she went to move the big items. By the end of the day, at night, she was so tired that she just wanted to go to sleep. She was still muttering that she wanted to go home. It was 2 months later when we finished the excavation of this batch of cultural relics. We returned to the capital city. Jason called, shall we go out and have a meal together? I remembered the incident when he almost gave me a tattoo that day, and a flash of vengefulness passed through my eyes. Okay. Jason on the other end shivered inexplicably. As soon as I sat down, Jason placed a peace talisman in front of me. What's this? I heard that you've been dealing with a batch of cultural relics unearthed from tombs recently. This peace talisman can ward off evil spirits. Consider it my way of thanking you. Thank you. It should be me thanking you. You were right. There's only one June, unique. She wouldn't want to see me like that. I didn't pick up on this topic. How's the clothing brand going? Speaking of this, the smile on Jason's face deepened, it's gradually getting on track. The brand name is Beloved, taking the high-end luxury style. I asked you out today to ask if you're interested in being in charge of this brand. I took a sip of soup and refused. A suitable candidate came to my mind. I'm not really suitable for managing these things. However, I have someone I can recommend to you. Jason, oh? When Bonnie showed up at the restaurant, Jason's temples twitched twice. Isn't this the one who called him the scum of society? When Bonnie saw that it was Jason, she wasn't happy either. I quickly pulled her aside and said, didn't you tell me that you didn't like working in your father's company and wanted to fulfill your dream of becoming a fashion designer? This opportunity is perfect for you. Look, Jason has handed over the entire brand for you to manage. You can design the clothes you like. It kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Think about it, isn't that the case? Besides, if you can't stand him, you don't have to put up with him. If you feel unhappy, just scold him directly. There's no need to hold back. Bonnie thought about it and agreed. As soon as this gathering was over, Jason received a call from Fuer asking him to go to the bar. Jason turned his head to look at me, coming along? Sure. The 2 of us stood at the entrance of the hotel waiting for the driver to drive over. President Jason, lower your head. There's something on your back. I slapped it hard on purpose, using all my strength. Oh, the bug has run away. Jason raised an eyebrow, deliberately getting back at me? I didn't. Believe it or not. When we arrived at the bar, Jason smelled the cigarette smoke in the private room and immediately asked people to put out the cigarettes and open the windows for ventilation. When Fuer saw me, the cigarette in his mouth dropped onto his leg. Have you 2 gotten back together? I picked up the nearest apple at hand and threw it at him. What are you thinking? We're just friends now. Friends? Fuer was shocked. Suddenly, he seemed to remember something. I heard that you just went to the neighboring city to participate in the restoration of a batch of unearthed cultural relics. I never knew you were so capable before. I didn't avoid the topic at all, because before, you all regarded me as June. You thought what she was good at was what I was good at. How would you be willing to find out what I really liked? Fuer regretted bringing up this topic. Jason fiddled with the Buddhist beads a couple of times. With just one look from him, Fuer immediately fell silent and changed the topic. Jason asked, have a couple of drinks? I played with the wine glass in front of me. I've been busy for 2 months. Now that I can finally relax, I'm going to drink to my heart's content tonight. Jason and I drank one glass after another. He downed every glass. Just when I was doubting whether he could hold his liquor no matter how much he drank, he got up and staggered out, not allowing anyone to follow him. I used the excuse of going to the toilet and followed him out. Seeing that there was no one in the men's toilet, I locked the door, picked up a broom and started hitting Jason with it. He had drunk a lot. Except for struggling at the beginning, he seemed to fall asleep later, or maybe he passed out. I didn't hesitate to punch and hit him, muttering to myself at the same time. Who asked you to give me a tattoo? Who asked you to treat me as a substitute? But I didn't lose out either. I was with you because I was attracted to your looks. If you were a bit uglier, I wouldn't have been with you. I didn't hold back when hitting him. He was bruised all over. I'm afraid he'll try to find out who beat him up when he wakes up tomorrow. But I'm not afraid. After venting my anger, I let out a sigh. Beating someone is quite tiring. I put the broom back in its place and left, pretending that nothing had happened. The next day, I heard that Jason had gone to the hospital. Later, when I saw him, I thought he would bring up the matter of his injury. But he didn't mention it at all. Since he didn't mention it, I wouldn't take the initiative to ask and get myself into trouble. Later, I happened to hear Fuer asking Jason, "How could you endure that long tirade? It's not in your character not to get revenge. Or have you fallen in love with Ruby? Actually, June has been gone for so many years. You can try to accept others, truly give your heart, not just a substitute." Jason still kept the Buddhist beads in his hand. I originally thought Ruby was like other women. Choosing such an obedient person as a substitute would save me a lot of trouble. But after getting along with her, I found out that she's not someone who's willing to be controlled by others. If June were still alive, she would definitely become good friends with her. Fuer shook his head. There's no hope. He just kept talking about June. The Bureau of Cultural Relics took on a big project. In the neighboring city A, while building roads, one tomb after another was dug out. There weren't enough people, so Rachel called me, hoping that I could go over and help for a while. At the beginning, Han Dynasty artifacts were just being unearthed here. Some people couldn't help joking, "We're trampling on our ancestors' heads every day." The ancestors are unhappy and have to come out for a stroll. There are more people underground in City A than on the ground. At first, I agreed to help for a while, but in the end, this helping lasted for 4 years. 4 years have passed, and we still haven't withdrawn from City A. One tomb after another has been dealt with. 4 years have passed, and the subway in City A still hasn't been open to traffic. One day, I was just about to go to pit number 2 to work. I saw a familiar figure. It was the little green tea. I waved at her. After seeing clearly that it was me, she quickly lowered her head and trotted all the way to Rachel. Now, when the little green tea sees me, she's as scared as a mouse seeing a cat. From Jason's perspective. At June's cemetery. June, since you left, I've been in a daze and lost my purpose. We had already agreed that we would get married when you became an outstanding designer. I had the wedding dress you designed made, but you left on that night. June, I'm sorry. I found a woman who looks similar to you. I wanted her to be your substitute and stay by my side. She seems obedient and docile on the surface, but I know that she's not as obedient as she appears. I don't care. Without you, it doesn't matter who I marry. June, she lost the Buddhist beads that you begged for me. I wanted to kill her. But then I was worried that if I killed her, I would never find someone who looks so much like you again. I decided to turn her completely into you, exactly the same, including that tattoo. She said that no one would want others to become them. She said that I was using the wrong method and that if I kept making mistakes, you wouldn't forgive me. I started to do as she said. It seems to have really worked. I don't have insomnia at night anymore, and I can even dream of you. June. I've fulfilled your dream. I've developed the Beloved brand. I used the money I earned to set up a relief organization to help people who are sick like you. I know that if you were here, you would definitely support me in doing this. June. Are you okay over there? It started to drizzle at the cemetery. I tightly held the Buddhist beads in my hand. Before long, the noisy summer with cicadas came, but this time, there was no longer the person I loved. The end.